The cool thing about video games is that they can make just about any occupation fun. The appropriately named 911 operator is a perfect example of this, as it puts you in control of a city's emergency crews. It's a real-time strategy game where you have to juggle the police, medics, and fire team as they rush around saving people's lives. This may sound overwhelming, but it turns out to be an incredibly engaging simulator that's all about choosing priorities and keeping the city safe. 911 Operator is the debut title from Polish developer Jutsu Games, who trades flashy graphics for a scaled-back design with an easy interface. You view the action entirely from a map, putting you in the shoes of the man on the other end of a 911 call. You can see where all the different emergency crews are located, so it's up to you to pair the right teams with each event. Sometimes you'll need to send the police to break up a domestic disturbance, while other times you'll have to get the fire trucks and ambulances involved to deal with the blaze. You'll have to send the motorcycle cops to chase down speeders and get the medics to a heart attack victim before he dies. It's basically everything you'd expect from a job as a dispatcher, only now you can earn reputation points and money to upgrade your emergency crews. It's these hooks that'll keep you coming back. Before each round starts, you'll need to go over your staff, equipment, and vehicles to make sure you have what you need. You can buy new guns and body armor for your cops, as well as load up the fire teams with different vehicles. When somebody gets injured in the field, you'll have to cycle through the possible candidates and hire a replacement. A lot of this reminds me of XCOM, though don't expect to run into any sectoids or thin men in this adventure. As you might expect, a lot of your job involves answering 911 calls. These are handled through graphic adventure-style dialogue options, complete with full voice acting and conversations. Not all calls are as straightforward as you might expect, with some being false alarms and others requiring more than one emergency team. You'll have to decide how to best handle each situation, while constantly juggling only a few emergency crews. And you better not let anybody die, because the game will take away reputation points for every wrong decision. There isn't really a story here, so you'll go into each shift not knowing what to expect. The goal, beyond keeping everybody safe of course, is to earn enough reputation points to unlock the different cities. We start out in Kapolei, Hawaii, and then move on to Chicago, San Francisco, Washington DC, and New York City. Each location has a new type of emergency to deal with, including some based on popular TV shows and movies. I knew there was going to be a Breaking Bad situation in Albuquerque from the get-go, and the game threw it at me within the first few minutes. For as serious as some of this is handled, there's a level of cheekiness to some of the emergencies. Perhaps the coolest aspect of the game involves playing in the town you live in. Assuming you live in a large enough city, you'll be able to download a local map and pretend you're actually helping the community. While it doesn't radically change the way the game's played, I'd be lying if I said I wasn't into monitoring my hometown. It's neat seeing familiar streets and locations pop up, even if it's all completely fictional. When it comes to the downsides, I found that 911 Operator became a bit repetitive after a while. Even when you switch locations, you're still dealing with a lot of the same issues. In fact, you'll deal with a lot of the same callers multiple times. Granted, it's likely no more repetitive than being a real 911 operator, but the sameness did get to me after a while. It's also worth mentioning that there's day one downloadable content, which some people may not be thrilled by. For an additional $4, you'll add 8 special emergency vehicles, 6 new types of equipment, and more than a dozen new event types. This DLC was initially a Kickstarter incentive, so it makes sense why the stuff would be sold separately. That said, it's hard not to feel like you're buying an incomplete product, especially when some of the additions change the way the game is played. For as much fun as I had with 911 Operator, I will freely admit that it's not for everybody. Chances are you already know if you're into this based entirely on what you see here. It never turns into an action game or tells a compelling story, but what it does is both fun and addictive. Successfully managing the city's emergency vehicles is surprisingly satisfying, and I had a huge smile on my face most of the time. Well, except for a few of the more emotional calls, but that comes with the territory when you're a 911 operator. Hi, thanks for watching our review. Before it turns into a big controversy, I want to note that I recorded this review when I was in the middle of suffering from an allergy attack. So if my voice sounds a little odd, well, don't read too much into it. I'm back to my usual self now and shouldn't have any issues going forward. Speaking of which, we'll be taking a look at Super Blackjack Battle 2 Turbo Edition tomorrow. Allergies or not, it would be really great if you'd click that subscribe button and support what we're doing here. Until then.